Listen, I'm about to show you something that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Growing massive, juicy watermelons in a simple bucket on your balcony. No backyard needed. And before you click away thinking this is some gardening fairy tale, stick around because I've cracked the code on doing this for less than the cost of buying 3 watermelons at the grocery store. The secret? Most people are doing container gardening completely backwards. Hey there, garden friends. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening, where we prove you don't need deep pockets to grow deep roots. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found us because today's tutorial is going to blow your mind. We're diving into container watermelon growing, and I promise this isn't your typical just add water guide. We're getting tactical, budget-friendly, and real about what actually works. Real quick before we dig in, if you appreciate gardening content that respects your wallet and your time, smash that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss our money-saving garden hacks. Trust me, your future harvests will thank you. Now let's grow some watermelons. So here's the deal. When I first heard about container watermelons, I laughed. Literally laughed out loud. Watermelons are those sprawling giants that take over entire garden beds, right? Wrong. The gardening world has been keeping a delicious secret from apartment dwellers and small space growers. And today, I'm spilling everything. The truth is, you can absolutely grow sweet, crispy watermelons in containers on your patio, balcony, or even a sunny driveway spot. But here's where most tutorials fail you. They either recommend expensive setups or skip the crucial details that make or break your harvest. We're not doing that today. Section 1. Busting the myths. First, let's address the elephant in the garden. Yes, watermelons need space, but they need vertical space, not horizontal. Think up, not out. Your container becomes the anchor, and will train those vines to climb, which is something most watermelons actually prefer because it keeps fruit off damp soil where rot loves to party. Second myth, you need fancy containers. Absolutely false. I've successfully grown watermelons in old storage totes with drainage holes drilled in them. Cost, maybe $5 at a thrift store. The container police aren't coming for you. Watermelons care about volume and drainage, not aesthetics. Third misconception that drives me crazy, that all watermelons are the same. They're not. Choosing the right variety is literally half the battle, and this is where beginners throw money down the drain. Section 2. Choosing your variety. Listen closely because this will save you months of disappointment. You need what's called a bush or compact variety. These are bred specifically for small spaces. Some winning names to write down: Sugar Baby, Bush Charleston Gray, Golden Midget, or Garden Baby. These produce full-sized fruit on shorter vines. Here's the insider trick nobody mentions. Go for icebox types. These are personal-sized watermelons, usually 6 to 10 pounds when mature. Perfect size, incredible flavor, and they won't snap your vines under their weight when growing vertically. Avoid, and I can't stress this enough, avoid seedless varieties for your first container attempt. They're pickier about pollination and temperature. Save yourself the heartache. Section 3. The container setup. Your container needs to be at least 5 gallons, but honestly, bigger is better. 7 to 10 gallons is the sweet spot. Too small, and your plant becomes stressed, produces tiny fruit, or just gives up entirely. Drainage is non-negotiable. If water sits at the bottom, your roots will rot faster than you can say garden fails. Drill holes if your container doesn't have them, at least 4 to 6 holes spread across the bottom. Now here's my budget hack that sounds strange but works beautifully. Fill the bottom 2 inches with packing peanuts or broken terracotta pieces. This creates a drainage reservoir, keeps soil from getting waterlogged, and saves you money on potting mix. You're welcome. For soil, skip the garden dirt. It compacts in containers like concrete. Instead, grab a bag of generic potting mix and blend in some compost if you have it. The ratio doesn't need to be scientific. Roughly 2/3 potting mix, 1/3 compost works magic. Total cost? Under $10 for most containers. Section 4. Location. Watermelons are sun worshippers. We're talking a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunlight daily, but 8 to 10 hours is where the magic happens. That means south-facing spots in the northern hemisphere, north-facing in the southern hemisphere. If you're on a balcony with limited sun, here's the hack. Use reflective surfaces. An old white sheet, aluminum foil on cardboard, or even a white painted board behind your container bounces light back onto your plant. Sounds silly, tastes delicious. Wind is your hidden enemy. Too much buffeting stresses plants and makes pollination harder. If you're in a windy spot, create a simple windbreak using other containers, lattice panels, or even stacked bags of soil. Get creative. Quick pause if you're learning something valuable here. Drop a comment below telling me what you're most excited to grow this season. Also, click that like button. It genuinely helps more gardeners find these budget-friendly tips. Okay, let's talk about the growing process because this is where things get really interesting. Section 5. Planting and early care. Timing matters more than you'd think. Don't plant until your nighttime temperatures consistently stay above 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius. Watermelons are tropical babies at heart. They sulk in cold soil. Plant 2 to 3 seeds per container, about an inch deep. Once they germinate and reach 3 inches tall, keep the strongest one and snip the others at soil level. I know it feels brutal, but overcrowding creates weak plants. Here's something fascinating that most guides skip. Watermelons have a taproot system. That means they grow one strong root straight down before branching. This is why container depth matters more than width. Your 5-gallon bucket needs to be tall, not wide. Water deeply but infrequently at first. You want soil that feels like a wrung-out sponge, moist, but not soggy. Stick your finger 2 inches into the soil. Dry? Water thoroughly. Damp? Wait another day. Section 6. The vertical growing secret. Once your plant reaches about a foot tall, it's time to introduce support. Here's where container growing gets brilliant. Use a simple tomato cage, a trellis, or even stakes with twine. As vines grow, gently weave them through or tie them loosely with soft cloth strips. Training vines upward does 3 incredible things: saves space, improves air circulation, which prevents disease, and makes your fruit easier to monitor. Plus, it looks absolutely stunning. When fruit starts forming, you'll need to support each melon individually. Old pantyhose or t-shirt strips work perfectly as slings. Tie one end to your trellis, cradle the melon, tie the other end. This prevents premature dropping. Section 7. Feeding your plants without breaking the bank. Here's where people overspend dramatically. You don't need fancy fertilizers. Watermelons are moderate feeders, not gluttons. Start with a balanced organic fertilizer when planting something like October 10th. 10. Then, once flowers appear, switch to something higher in phosphorus and potassium, which promotes fruiting. A May 10th, 10 ratio works beautifully. My dirt cheap fertilizer hack? Banana peels. Dry them, crush them into powder, and sprinkle around your plants monthly. Potassium-rich and completely free. Eggshells crushed into powder add calcium. Compost tea is liquid gold. Feed every 2 to 3 weeks during active growth. Moreover, overfed watermelons produce huge vines with tiny fruit. Balance is everything. Section 8. Pollination, the secret sauce. This might be the most overlooked aspect of container watermelons. Unlike in-ground plants surrounded by dozens of pollinators, your solitary container might not attract enough bees. Learn to hand-pollinate. It's ridiculously simple. Male flowers appear first and have thin stems. Female flowers have a tiny swelling at the base that looks like a miniature watermelon. Take a male flower, remove the petals, and brush the pollen-covered center directly onto the center of female flowers. Do this in the morning when pollen is most viable. One male flower can pollinate multiple females. If pollination succeeds, that tiny swelling grows. If it fails, it yellows and drops off within days. Section 9. Watering strategy as fruit develops. Once you've got small watermelons forming, your watering strategy shifts. During fruit development, watermelons need consistent moisture, not drowning, but reliable hydration. Check your containers daily. Here's the twist. About a week before harvest, reduce watering significantly. This concentrates sugars and improves flavor dramatically. Your watermelon goes from good to, "Where have you been all my life?" Good. Signs you're overwatering? Yellowing leaves and slow growth. Underwatering? Wilting during the hottest part of the day that doesn't recover overnight, and blossom end rot. Section 10. Knowing when to harvest. This is the moment of truth, and most first-timers pick either too early or too late. Here are the foolproof signs. The tendril nearest to the fruit stem turns brown and dried. The spot where the melon rests changes from white to creamy yellow. The skin becomes dull, not shiny. And here's the fun one. Thump it. A ripe watermelon sounds deep and hollow, like thumping a basketball. Unripe sounds higher pitched and solid. Days to maturity listed on your seed packet is a guideline, not gospel. Weather, sunlight, and growing conditions all affect timing. Trust the signs, not just the calendar. Let's rapid fire through problems you might face. Leaves turning yellow? Usually nitrogen deficiency or overwatering. Fruit cracking? Inconsistent watering, especially after dry spells. Few female flowers? Too much nitrogen fertilizer back off the feeding. Powdery white spots on leaves? Powdery mildew. Spray with a mixture of 1 tablespoon baking soda per gallon of water weekly. Totally organic and cheap. Fruit refusing to grow beyond baseball size? Likely poor pollination or insufficient sunlight. Address these early in the season. Look, container watermelon growing isn't for people expecting perfection on the first try. It's for curious gardeners willing to experiment, learn, and adapt. Your first season might yield 2 perfect melons or 5 small ones. Both are victories. The beauty of containers is mobility. Not getting enough sun? Move it. Too windy? Relocate. Having drainage issues? Adjust before the season ends. Document everything. Take photos, jot down notes about what worked and what didn't. Each season makes you smarter, and before you know it, you'll be the person neighbors ask for advice. And there you have it, friends, your complete, budget-friendly guide to growing watermelons in containers. No fancy equipment, no massive garden, just determination and a little creativity. If this video helped you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who thinks they don't have space to garden. Prove them wrong together. Subscribe if you haven't already because we've got tons more wallet-friendly gardening content coming your way. Drop a comment telling me, what's the weirdest thing you've successfully grown in a container? I read every single one, and I love hearing your stories. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember the best gardens are built on curiosity, not cash. Happy gardening!